Hey everybody, I'm Jim Powers, and once again, welcome back to MaryvilleSaints.com and Saints Vision as we start to wrap up the 2016-17 school year. But I tell you what, a lot of exciting things going on over the last couple weeks here in the athletic department, and one of them is the hiring of our brand new head men's basketball coach, and he's not a stranger to Maryville, was an assistant coach a few years back, Marc Stricker. And Mark, I know you've got to be so happy to be back here at Maryville and back home for you because you're a St. Louis native.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an honor to be back here and be a part of Saints Nation. Got a lot of respect for Mr. Manning and Dr. Lombardi and everything they've accomplished here. And, to come back and work for a place like this in my hometown of St. Louis was just the icing on the cake. And I can't wait to get rocking and rolling here.
Let's talk a little bit about where you've been the last couple years. You were with Coach Carroll for a year, and then you went up to Eastern Illinois with Jay Spoonhour, and then went down to Oral Roberts with Scott Sutton. Talk about those couple years that you were away from Maryville and some of the things that you may have learned since being here a few years back.
Yeah, I spent 3 years at Eastern Illinois under Coach Jay Spoonhour, and a lot of folks in St. Louis are familiar with the Spoonhour name. And I learned, a great amount from Coach Spoon. I mean, he's one of the best in the business. Really learned how to manage your staff off the floor and make sure there's a life balance. Learned, the ins and outs of player management, how to keep guys motivated for games and practices, how to keep their minds fresh. We did a lot of great things at Eastern Illinois, and that's because Coach Spoonhour is just unbelievable at what he does. And then I had the opportunity to go to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and work for Coach Scott Sutton at Oral Roberts University. And Coach Sutton is a guy that he's been to multiple NCAA tournaments and NITs as a head coach, tremendous amount of success. And, man, I learned a ton. I was only with him for about 10 months, but it's hard to be around a guy like that and not learn. Right. And he was just unbelievable at the relationships with the players. His players loved him. They respected him. They went to war for him. And I'm just so fortunate that in my time away from Maryville that I've had the opportunity to work for two guys like him, because as good a coaches as they are, they're even better off the floor.
No doubt about it. And now you come back to Maryville. A good nucleus coming back with no seniors other than Anthony Johnson graduating this year. A good nucleus coming back. What are some of the first things you've been able to do over the last couple weeks, getting your feet wet and hitting the ground running?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a big piece of this team coming back next year, and we're going to be a veteran team. And that's a big deal. When you want to win at a high level, you have to have veterans on the team, guys that have been around it and knows what it looks like. So we're very fortunate to have that. We were able to have a couple practices and a couple conditioning workouts, and I thought they went great. I thought the energy was at a very high level. The attention span was at a high level. And I really just wanted to see what they look like. I've seen a lot of film on the guys, but I wanted to see what they look like in person, how they react to certain situations, put them in a little bit of pressure and see what happens. So I feel like we had a very productive couple weeks. And I'm even more excited about the job after getting to spend some time with them, spend some individual time with them, one-on-one basis, and talk about expectations. So as far as on the floor, I think it was great.
I know expectations, and I know what your expectations are. We're gonna get into it, and we're gonna win games. And you know the GLVC as well as I do. We know how tough of a conference it is, but we also know that we can compete at that level.
Yeah, I think so. You can't go into the season with the mind frame that you're not going to compete at a high level. Even though we have some great pieces coming back, we're going to add a couple more pieces that the St. Louis area is going to be very familiar with, and I think it's going to bring the level of play up. It's going to bring the level of competition up amongst our team in practice, which is huge in becoming a successful team. And I think it's going to raise some awareness of the St. Louis community that we're going to do some special things here at Maryville. And I think if we add a couple of those pieces, I don't want to put a finite number on how many wins or whatever, but I do feel good about what we're going to be able to accomplish next year.
Outstanding stuff. Well, I know we're going to have quite a few conversations and that, but I'm excited to have you back, and we're going to have a lot of fun, and I know Saints Nation is so happy to have you back here on campus.
Thanks, Jim. I mean, I don't think anybody's more excited to be back here than me, and we've hit the ground running, and I look forward to seeing everybody out at our games and hopefully continued support.
Outstanding stuff, Mark. Thanks so much for the time.
Thanks, Jim.
Marc Stricker joins us, our brand new men's head basketball coach here at Maryville. We will talk to Mark a couple times during the summer after he's had a chance to hit the ground running even more. And then once August and September hits, we'll definitely be talking to Coach leading up to the season. For Coach Stricker, I'm Jim Powers. Thanks so much for tuning in to MaryvilleSaints.com and Saints Vision. Have a great week. And as always, go Saints.